Chapter 45-27. Huomin's impulse was probably because he saw the note Suyu left behind. After Huomin fainted, Master Wu quickly called in and quickly found Qin Chu. Master Wu put away the note and burned it. Although it was nothing, he couldn't let Qin Chu see it. Otherwise he would feel terrible. After calming down, Huomin calmed down a lot. Jixin and Bella brought Yang Mirong to the hospital to accompany Huomin. With his family around, Huomin's mood was better. Bella didn't enter the dream just like the twins. Therefore she was in a good state of mind. Jixin, did you tell Sis about that? Bella looked at Jixin shyly. You should announce this yourself, Jixin said with a smile. Let Mom do it. I'm embarrassed. Bella held Yang Mirong's hand. Yang Mirong wiped Huomin's forehead with a handkerchief and said with a smile, Mian, Bella is pregnant. Really? That's a good thing. Huomin's eyes lit up. This was probably the best news he had heard recently. Yeah, it's been more than a month, but the two kids didn't say anything. I just found out. You're going to be an aunt. Yeah, I'm going to be an aunt. When the babies are born, I have to give them a big gift, Huomin mumbled. Jixin quickly interrupted her. I don't want any big gifts. Sis, you've done enough for me all these years. I just want you to live a safe and happy life. Tears welled up in Huomin's eyes. Seeing that Huomin was about to cry, Bella quickly continued. Sis, I only have one request. Can you give me some of Little Bean's and Pudding's childhood clothes? I'll save money and buy them for the babies. No, our baby can't wear old clothes. He has to wear new ones. I'll take care of all his clothes, Huomin said with a smile. Qin Chu was at the door. He was relieved when he saw Huomin's smile through the glass window. Then he called the professor and drove to the Su family's house. This was also the first time that Qin Chu had paid a visit to Su Yu's family after the incident. Su family mansion. When the guard saw Qin Chu's license plate number, he let him pass. Qin Chu's visit this time was different from the past. He didn't buy anything and came empty-handed. It was Lady Su who opened the door. Seeing Qin Chu, Lady Su nodded. Here. Auntie, come in. Everyone is here. Your Lord Su is also home. How is Lord Su? Old Master's old illness is acting up again. He's been coughing recently. It was obvious that the Su family was still silent and sad. The twins had been staying at the Su family's house for the past few days. With the two children here, the Su family's house didn't seem so empty. Daddy, you're here. Little Bean ran over when she saw Qin Chu. Daddy, is Mommy here? Little Bean asked. No, your mommy is about to give birth. She has to stay in the hospital for the next few days. Qin Chu squatted down and patted Little Bean's head. Then he pinched Little Bean's face. He had been so busy these past few days that he didn't have the mood to take care of the two children. Fortunately, they were sensible. They also lived well in the Su family. They didn't cry or make a fuss. This saved Qin Chu a lot of trouble. These past few days, Mian alone was enough for him to worry about. Wow, so soon? Qin Guogua is coming out, right? Then I'll have a new toy in the future. Little Bean clapped her hands and said, Qin Guogua? What do you mean? Lady Su was stunned by the two children. Chapter 45-28. Little Bean immediately grabbed Lady Su's hand and said with a smile, Qin Guogua is my brother's nickname. It means that he will often be the scapegoat in the future. That's a terrible name. Don't call him that, Lady Su chided with a smile. Auntie, is Uncle home? He just went out to do something. He'll probably be back later. You can eat here later. I'll call him. Okay. Qin Chu nodded. Then after hugging the two children, he got up and went upstairs to Lord Su's study. When Qin Chu entered, Grandpa Su was reading something with his reading glasses. Seeing Qin Chu enter, he put down his things. Only then did Qin Chu see clearly that it was a photo of Su Yu in military uniform. Before Qin Chu could speak, Grandpa Su took the initiative to say, this was taken when you first joined the army. At that time he was still arrogant and unruly. He was a famous troublemaker in the southwest military region. No army was willing to take him. Later I made up my mind and sent him to the special forces. Qin Chu felt very guilty. He lowered his head and said to Lord Su. Lord Su, I'm sorry. It's all because of us that Su Yu. Hey Chu, let's not talk about this. I know Yu's personality. If he was a coward and lived on his own without caring about anyone else, I would be angry. That's how a man of the Su family should behave. My grandson did the right thing, and as his grandfather I'm proud of him. I'm even more relieved that he was able to save everyone. Grandpa Su spoke from the bottom of his heart. Although something happened to Su Yu, Grandpa Su felt that his grandson did nothing wrong and was the pride of the Su family. Qin Chu didn't say anything, but he felt very sad. Su Yu was the only son of the Su family. Lord Su only had one precious grandson. But now, when Yu was young, he had a fiery temper. His father and I beat him up a lot, but he just wouldn't give in. He's really stubborn. Later, when he went to the military, his temper became even worse. He's very similar to me. When his grandmother was alive, she always said that Yu is exactly like me. He's the root of the Su family. After hearing this, Qin Chu walked over and picked up Su Yu's photo from the table. It was indeed very old. When Su Yu joined the army, he was only in his teens and hadn't even finished school. Moreover, he was a special forces soldier. He would definitely suffer a lot. In Qin Chu's mind, he kept thinking about how Su Yu had fought alongside him. The subtle friendship that the two of them had established. If not for Su Yu, they would not have known that they were in a dream, let alone the four dream creators. It was true that Su Yu had saved everyone, but it was also true that Su Yu had sacrificed himself. Master Lord Su, Mian and I are very sad about Su Yu. I'm a person with a sharp tongue, so I won't say anything. I just want to tell you that from now on, Mian and I, Pudding and Little Bean, will be your closest relatives. We will always take care of you, Auntie Su and Uncle Su. I will be filial to you on behalf of Su Yu. After saying this, Qin Chu knelt down in front of Lord Su. However, before he could touch the ground, the old man reached out to help him up. Chu, I understand your intentions. I'm satisfied with your words. You don't have to kneel to me. I appreciate your intentions. I've seen your and Mian's characters for the past few years, and I've treated you like my own children. So there's no need for us to say this. It's enough that we have it in our hearts. Although he said that, Qin Chu still felt that Lord Su had aged a lot overnight. Master Lord Su, I'm here today, because I have something important to report to you. Qin Chu's expression was serious. Chapter 45-29. Okay, sit down and talk. Lord Su pointed at the armchair beside him and asked Qin Chu to sit down. My father-in-law, Mian's father, Professor Liu, just called me. He found some clues. These might be related to the boss behind the four dream creators. And this person is in China now. Take a look. Do you recognize these signs? As he spoke, Qin Chu took out his phone and showed Lord Su some photos. Lord Su's expression changed drastically. Chu, where did you get these? They were all given to me by my father-in-law, Professor Liu. Is it accurate? Is the source reliable? Yes, it's very reliable. My father-in-law has a good relationship with the higher-ups of the FBI and can use a lot of high-level documents. After Qin Chu said this, the old man fell silent. However, his eyes were fixed on the photos. It was obvious that he recognized them. Qin Chu continued, the four dream creators came from a mysterious organization in the world called the Doomsday Death God. This organization has existed for 30 years, and outsiders don't know the exact number of members and whereabouts. They only know that it's a secret assassin organization. However, they don't know that their assassin identities are only on the surface. In fact, they've been doing some ambitious experiments. The red demon that my father-in-law developed many years ago is one of their treasures. This time they went all out. The four dream creators weaved a huge net for us. If it weren't for Su Yu, all of us might have died inside. Now that the dream creators are dead, the conspiracy hasn't stopped. My father-in-law once found some key passwords on one of the dream creators, the one who pretended to be Dr. Linya. After returning to the real world, my father-in-law spent 3 days to crack the passwords and found these photos. What does the professor mean now? Lord Su asked Qin Chu. His meaning is very simple. He asked me to show these to you. You've been in the military for many years, so you must know these. You might already know who they are. I do know these, and I do know this person. Lord Su's expression was complicated. Is he from the military? Qin Chu asked tentatively. I really didn't expect him to have such power. Perhaps you don't know, but he retired 3 years ago. He's been living in a paradise near his hometown in Shaanxi, Mount Zhongnan. He doesn't care about worldly affairs. I always thought that he was the most aloof and free person among us elders. I didn't expect him to have such wild ambitions. He actually wants to obtain the red demon. Lord Su, you also know what the red demon is? Qin Chu was somewhat surprised. Of course, this is top secret. Only a few people know about it. Back then we wanted to get our hands on it too. Later, after weighing the pros and cons, we gave up. If mankind wants to develop in the long term, we must not develop anything related to nuclear weapons. Otherwise, once the war breaks out, Earth will cease to exist. Although our country may think this way, other countries may not. Russia and America have always been restless. Otherwise, they would not have detained your father-in-law until now. It's not appropriate for a commoner like me to comment on national affairs. Chu, leave this matter to me. If it's really him, then I'll settle the score with him. Because my grandson was destroyed by him. After leaving Lord Su's house, Qin Chu went to the villa in the suburbs. Layla had once been imprisoned here, but after Linya died, Layla was reduced to ashes. Now the person locked up here was Zheng Ro. Qin Chu? He actually came back alive. Zheng Ro was captured by Su Yu and was later tied up by Master Wu in the basement of the Su family. After Qin Chu returned, he ordered someone to move her away, but he had never interacted with her directly. Chapter 45-30. Qin Chu glanced at Zheng Ro's face coldly. What? You didn't expect this, did you? Yes, it seems like after Su Yu entered the dream for the second time, you guys worked together to kill all the dream creators. Zheng Ro had met Su Yu before and knew what Su Yu was going to do. Even though she was a hypnotist, it was inevitable that she had some true feelings for Su Yu. Therefore, when she heard that Su Yu was going to enter the dream for the second time, Zheng Ro was agitated and strongly opposed it. However, it did not stop Su Yu's final decision. Now that Qin Chu and the others had left the dream safe and sound, Su Yu's fate was obvious. Yes. Zheng Ro looked up and looked into Qin Chu's eyes with a complicated expression. She asked him, "So where's Su Yu?" "He stayed there." "Yes," Qin Chu replied with one word. Zheng Ro's heart ached when she heard that. "He's you, that fool." In the end, he's still willing to sacrifice himself for Huamin. Those who are trapped in the nightmare forever have no afterlife or present life. They only have endless loneliness. "Zheng Ro, let's negotiate." Qin Chu didn't want to hear Zheng Ro sigh. He just wanted to talk to her about serious matters. "I'm already like this. I'm just a prisoner. How can I negotiate?" Zheng Ro sneered. "Tell me how to save Su Yu. I'll let you go and not hurt you at all," Qin Chu said. Zheng Ro suddenly looked up and smiled sharply. "You want to save Su Yu?" "Yes." "Qin Chu, you have to know that he's your love rival. Without Su Yu, now that Hu Xiqian is dead and Su Yu is gone, Huamin is yours alone. Why do you still want to save him?" Zheng Ro might not understand that Qin Chu and Su Yu were love rivals and found it unbelievable. "But he's also my best friend, Qin Chu said word by word. Zheng Ro was shocked and in disbelief. But in the end she understood. "So tell me how to save Su Yu no matter the cost." Seeing Huamin in pain, Qin Chu not only couldn't bear to see his wife's tea, but he also couldn't leave Su Yu alone in the nightmare. Otherwise, these people who were still alive would never be able to sleep. After all, their peaceful life was exchanged for by Su Yu's life. "If that's the case, then I'll tell you the truth. There's no way to solve Su Yu's problem." "Impossible." Qin Chu frowned slightly, his voice wavering. "It doesn't matter if you believe me or not. I'm not lying. All the dream creators are dead and the nightmare has collapsed. There's not even an entrance. No one can save Su Yu. Just accept your fate." "But isn't it contradictory? If the dream creators don't die, they might still have a chance to send Su Yu out. But if the dream creators don't die, you people won't wake up from your dreams. So this is really contradictory. Qin Chu, it's impossible to save Su Yu. It's useless even if you find anyone. This is the truth. If I had a way, do you think I would watch Su Yu stay in that godforsaken place forever?" Zheng Ro smiled as tears rolled down her cheeks. As a hypnotist, she had long lost her feelings and heart. However, Su Yu, this fool, made her believe once again that there was such a devoted person in this world. Hearing Zheng Ro's words and looking at her expression, she didn't seem to be lying. Qin Chu's heart sank to the bottom. "Qin Chu, don't think that you can rest easy just because you came out alive. You killed the 4 dream creators of the Doomsday Death God. The boss won't let you off." Chapter 45-31. "The boss you're talking about is Chief Y, right?" Qin Chu's casual words made Zheng Ro's expression change drastically. How did you know?" "The professor cracked the code on the dream creator. And found some clues. I'm afraid he can't even protect himself now. Master Lord Su lost his grandson and is looking for someone to take revenge. You? Zheng Ro didn't expect them to find out so quickly. Zheng Ro had always known the boss's identity and had been in contact with him for a long time. However, she didn't dare to say it, not even if she was beaten to death. After all, she was afraid that she would implicate her family. You're so obedient to him because of your family's scandal, right? All these years, your Zheng family's officials haven't been very clean. There must be a lot of evidence in his hands. Qingchu, you're really smart. You know everything. As the dream creator who lured us into the dream, you really deserve to die. But I won't kill you. I'll lock you up for the rest of your life. I'll let you experience the same pain as Suyu. Qingchu hated Zheng Ro to the core. He had never hated a woman so much. He should have shot her to death, but he knew that killing her wouldn't save Suyu. Qingchu was actually testing Zheng Ro. He knew a thing or two from Lord Su, but he wasn't sure. Now that he had confirmed the culprit, he turned to leave. Suddenly he heard a low moan. He turned around and saw Zheng Ro biting her tongue. Her mouth was full of blood. Qingchu didn't say anything. Perhaps he knew that Zheng Ro no longer had any desire to live and that the situation was hopeless. Even the boss behind this had been found out by them. What was a lackey like Zheng Ro? After Qingchu left, he ordered someone to burn down the villa in the suburbs. Zheng Ro mysteriously disappeared. That night, Qingchu received insider information. Secretary Zheng was investigated by the Anti-Corruption Bureau for corruption. And the Zheng family was arrested one after another. Another even more secret was that night, the former chief of a certain military region Y died of an illness at home. The next morning, Lord Su announced that he would retire early and return to Sea City. All of this happened very suddenly. Of course, ordinary people couldn't see any clues, but Qingchu knew that there was something fishy going on. On the way to the hospital, Qingchu received a call from the professor. Dad, Qingchu said affectionately. Chu, I've received news that Y is dead. Was it done by the old man from the Su family? Yes. After his death, Doomsday Reaper God officially disintegrated. Little Yan's people killed all the remaining members of Doomsday Reaper God. Where's Qiao Fei? Have you found him? Not yet. Xiao Yan is still sending people to look for him, said the professor. I'm in Iceland now. I'm here to visit Ya. Dr. Linya, is she all right? Actually, the Linya he saw back then was a dream creator. At that time, the professor had already entered the dream. Therefore, when he went to the cave in Iceland in his dream, he didn't see Linya's body and thought that she had run away. Now that he had returned to the real world and gone to Iceland, Linya's body was still there, but she was still the same. Her brain was dead and she was frozen. However, for the professor and Huamin, this was the best outcome. After all, Linya hadn't turned bad. She was still the best wife, the best mother, and the beauty who had been sleeping in the ice cave. Yes, fine, don't worry. By the way, is there any movement in Mion's stomach? When is the baby coming out? Not yet. She's currently hospitalized at Southside, waiting to give birth. Is she okay? The professor was worried that something would happen to Suyu, which would greatly affect his daughter. Chapter 45-32. Upon hearing this, Qingchu fell slightly silent. She's in a good mood. Him stay with her. She's already weak when she's about to give birth, and she needs comfort and companionship the most at this time. I believe this will pass slowly. She's a rational child and will pull herself together. Hey Dad. I'll take good care of her. Don't worry. After my grandson comes out, I'll go with Yen. Okay, call me in advance. I'll pick you up. Then he hurriedly hung up the phone with the professor. When Qingchu was about to arrive at the hospital, he received a call from Qin Ning. Brother, where are you? Come quickly. Qin Ning's tone was very urgent. Qingchu's heart tightened slightly. I'm on my way. I'll be at the hospital soon. What's wrong? My sister-in-law's water broke. She's about to give birth. I'll be right there. After hanging up the phone, Qingchu stepped on the gas pedal and sped all the way to the hospital. He changed into sterile clothes and followed the gynecologist into the operating room. At this time, Huamin had already taken the anesthetic prepared before the cesarean section and was a little dizzy. Honey, I'm here. Don't be afraid. Qingchu held Huamin's hand tightly. His palms were sweaty. It was obvious that he was even more nervous than Huamin. He had been in the operating room countless times. When he was in the United States, he often performed surgeries with the professor. After returning to China, he often went to the hospital. Even if it was a matter of life and death, Qin Chu had never been so nervous. It seemed that the saying was true. Even if he was a godly doctor, when it came to his own family, he would still be nervous and tremble. 4 years ago, when the twins were born, he was set up by Hua Xiqian in the United States. Not being able to accompany Huamin had always been his biggest regret. Therefore, after having a second child, he made up his mind that this time, no matter what, he had to be by Huamin's side. He had to be with her to give birth to the babies. Fortunately, everything happened in time. Honey, if anything happens to me... Shut up. Don't talk nonsense. It's just a minor surgery. Relax. Hearing Huamin say such ominous words, Qin Chu was also angry. He rarely scolded Huamin so seriously because he couldn't bear to do it. However, the situation now was different. He was really afraid that something unexpected would happen. Okay, I won't say anything. Then you have to stay with me. Oh, I won't leave. I'll stay here. Don't worry. If you're tired, you can take a nap. All right. Huamin smiled. Qin Chu kissed her tired forehead gently. Then Huamian fell asleep in a daze. The surgery went smoothly. After all, as a doctor, Huamin paid a lot of attention to her diet and nutrition after she became pregnant. However, Qin Chu was still on tenterhooks. Even when Huamin's blood pressure rose a little and her heart rate increased a little, he wanted to do it himself. This was probably the largest cesarean section in the history of Southside. The 2 directors of the obstetrics and gynecology department for doctors and 9 nurses were all present. Even 2 anesthesiologists were present. They were the best in the hospital. Actually, it was just giving birth. However, Huamin usually took care of everyone. Therefore, they were very popular. Everyone volunteered to perform the surgery for Director Hua. There was even a group of people cheering at the door. Other than the people from the hospital, Xixin, Bella, Yang Myong, Lady Su, the twins, Qin Chu's parents, Tang Chuan, Qin Ning, Gao Ran, Zhu Lingling, Jiang Shaowei and Wei Liao were all present. Other than Cici, who was about to give birth, who was forced to rest in the ward, and Rick, who was still on the plane back to China, everyone was present. In the operating room, the moment the baby was carried out, he cried. Qin Chu felt that at that moment, his heart was about to melt. Chapter 45-33. President Qin, congratulations. It's a young master. He weighs 6 pounds and 8 ounces. The chief surgeon carefully placed the baby in Qin Chu's arms. He gently took it and looked at the baby who looked like him. He was so touched that he actually cried. Director, your son is so good looking. His eyebrows are so thick and his eyes are big. A few chief surgeons whispered into Huamin's ear. She was still conscious. She wanted to say something, but she was a little tired. She only smiled. Honey, you've worked hard. I'm going to stitch you up now. Hang in there. If you're tired, sleep a little longer. Qin Chu carried the child and whispered into Huamin's ear. Huamin nodded slightly and fell asleep again. Then she saw a patch of grass in front of her. There were white poplars on both sides like a university campus. The students walked in 2s and 3s, and from time to time she would hear laughter. Little sister Mion. Suddenly, an extremely familiar voice sounded in her ear. She turned around and was slightly surprised to see the boy in a light pink short-sleeved shirt. Hua Xiqian. Little sister Mion. Do you have class in the afternoon? I'll take you to a seafood feast. Aren't you? Huamin was surprised to see Hua Xiqian again because in Huamin's mind he was already dead. He died for her. Otherwise, Huamin would have died in the explosion. What? Are you afraid that Ning Xuan will be jealous? The coward. I don't know what you see in him. I heard that he went to look for prostitutes with the boys in his dorm when he was a freshman. What kind of taste do you have? Did he give up on himself after breaking up with Qin Chu? Huamin didn't say anything, not because she was angry. It was because this scene was very familiar. When she was in university, Hua Xiqian was already the general manager of the Hua Corporation. He was rich and powerful, and he was trusted by Hua Jinghai. Therefore, he would go to her school to pick up girls from time to time. Every time he saw her, he would flirt with her. At that time, she thought that Hua Xiqian was just teasing her and embarrassing her. Now that she thought about it, this man might have had other thoughts about her at that time. Seeing that Huamin was silent, Hua Xiqian walked over and approached her. She was wearing Hua Xiqian's cologne, which was indeed Hua Xiqian's style. Wow, my little sister Mian is so gentle today. Where did your sharp tongue go? As Hua Xiqian approached, Huamin felt that he was so real. Don't mess around. Huamin lowered his head, not daring to look into his eyes. She was afraid that she would cry. It's true. Ning Ziyuan is no good. Don't date him anymore. He has no money and no character. If you marry him, your life will be ruined. I know I won't marry him. Then marry me. You're Dad's daughter and I'm Dad's son. When the time comes, the family assets will be ours. Don't let the goodies flow into other people's fields. Before Huamin could say anything, Hua Xiqian laughed heartily. Young Master Hua. Not far away, the school bell's tall and slender figure swayed her slender waist as she walked over. Then she held onto Hua Xiqian's arm. Young Master Hua, you're so naughty. You're teasing the straight A student again. Let's go, little sister Mian. Call me if you need money. Kiss me and I'll give you 1,000,000 yuan. Before leaving, Hua Xiqian didn't forget to tease Huamin. If it was before, Huamin would have cursed out loud. But now, seeing Hua Xiqian in such a way, she was actually a little touched. Hua Xiqian, Huamin suddenly shouted at the back of the figure. She suddenly wanted to say something to him. Hua Xiqian turned around and smiled wickedly. Chapter 45-34. Huamin raised his hand, placed it by his mouth and shouted at Hua Xiqian, or perhaps in front of the entire school. Hua Xiqian, you look really good in pink. Perhaps he was used to being scolded by Huamin, but he didn't expect Huamin to do something like this. Therefore at that moment Hua Xiqian's eyes were filled with shock, surprise and ecstasy. His smile became even brighter. Then he turned around and hugged the girl with the hot figure. He even playfully turned his back to Huamin and made a V sign. It was great to see Hua Xiqian again in this way. It was great to be able to exchange a few words with him. Then the scene changed again. It became winter. It was the season of snowflakes. When Huamin opened his eyes, he realized that he was on a snow-covered street. As for himself, he was wearing a short red down jacket. He was chubby and looked like a koala bear. In the north, girls especially liked to wear fur in winter. Firstly, it looked good. Secondly, it kept them warm. Huamin was the type of person who rejected fur. Therefore all these years he had the habit of wearing down jackets. Because of this, Suyu even laughed at him for looking like a silly roe deer. While he was in a daze, Suyu jumped down the wall. Little girl, I patted Huamin's shoulder. Where's my birthday present? When Huamin saw Suyu, he was ecstatic. Before Suyu could say anything, he grabbed Suyu's hand. This was the first time that Suyu saw Huamin being so proactive. He was also dumbfounded. He looked at his hand, then at Huamin. What's going on? Suyu, come with me. Come back with me. Go back where? Suyu was confused again. Come back to the real world with me. Silly girl, did you have a fever? Don't play dumb with me. Hurry up and take it out. Where's my birthday present? Huamin was confused. Birthday present? Yeah, today's my birthday. I asked you for a red packet on WeChat this morning, but you ignored me. But I still believe that you didn't come empty-handed. Hurry up and take it out. Suyu urged her for a birthday present. Huamin looked around. They were outside the walls of Suyu's private mansion. She suddenly remembered what happened a few years ago on Suzu's birthday. He remembered that Zhao Qingya's younger sister, Zhao Xia, committed suicide by jumping off a building in her private mansion to frame Suyu. Because of this, Suyu was sued and almost charged with murder. Huamin didn't care about her image and proved that Suyu wasn't there. However, it made Qinchu jealous. How long had it been? Huamin never expected this. Are you stupid? Suyu lowered her head and leaned close to Huamin's face. Her white Versace long sleeve was clearly visible. Suyu, happy birthday. Huamin closed her eyes and kissed Suyu on the left side of her forehead at lightning speed. Suyu was instantly petrified. Huamin knew that Suyu had always known how he felt about her. However, she was helpless. Because she had someone she loved, she couldn't give Suyu a single cent. However, Suyu didn't give up just because she didn't respond. Instead, he stayed by her side to protect her. All these years, the only person Huamin owed was Suyu. Therefore, today she didn't know if it was a dream or something, but she actually saw Suyu again. As she made a bold move. He was really dumbfounded. Did Huamin just kiss him? He was stunned. Then he reached out and touched his face. Suyu wanted to say something but he realized that he was so excited that he couldn't speak. Do you like this gift? Hwamin asked him. Chapter 45-35. Mion. Suyu, I just gave birth to a baby Chinguagua. Baby? Suyu was dumbfounded again. Yes, this is my third child after putting in Little Bean. Master Lord Su named him Qin Yuyao. Mion, what are you talking about? You're not even pregnant, how can you have a child? Suyu looked at her in amusement. Hwamin didn't explain. They're having a party inside. Tang Chuan and the others are all there. Do you want to go in and have a drink? Suyu smiled. I'm not going. Don't drink too much. It's not good for your health. When did you start caring about me? Aren't you afraid that Qin Chu will be jealous? Hwamin put his hands into the pockets of his down jacket. Suyu, Qin Chu and I miss you very much. We all miss you very much. You're talking nonsense again. Dr. Hua, I wonder if you're possessed by a ghost today. I should put a talisman on your forehead. Heavenly spirits, earthly spirits. Huh. Suyu was naughty again. Hwamin was already crying. Well, why are you crying? I'm just teasing you. You're not possessed by a ghost. Don't be afraid. Suyu panicked when he saw her crying. I really miss you. Suyu's body trembled, he opened his mouth and was about to speak. His figure became more and more blurry. Suyu. Suyu, Hwamin called Suyu's name and woke up again. Then she saw the familiar ceiling. This was the VIP ward of Southside Recuperation Center. Qin Chu hurried over and held her hand. I'm here. Honey. Hwamin was just about to say that she dreamed of Suyu, but when she saw Qin Chu's haggard appearance she couldn't bear to say it. Hence she changed it to, Hubby, where's the child? The kids went to take a shower. I'll bring them back later. Why don't you go with them? You might get carried away. Qin Chu smiled faintly. No, Mom and Dad went with them. How are you? Are you tired? Does your wound hurt? Hwamin shook his head. Hubby, is he cute? Yes, he looks like me. He's very handsome. Hwamin smiled. Shameless. But I think his personality is very similar to yours. You can tell at such a young age. Don't lie to me. Hwamin obviously didn't believe her. It's true. He doesn't like to cry. He only cried a few times when he first came out. After that he's been very obedient. His eyes are very calm. I think his personality will be more like yours in the future. Where's my mom and Jishin? They went to the swimming pool. To accompany the baby. Okay, I'm a forgotten existence. Hwamin was full of jealousy. Don't talk nonsense. You still have Hubby. Hubby, where are Pudding and Little Bean? They're with Buyan and Yunchu. Xiaowei and Lingling took them out to eat. Everyone has been waiting for you. They didn't eat much. It's okay for the adults but the kids are exhausted. Okay. Auntie Su just came and brought this for the kids. Qin Chu picked up a small box and placed it beside Hwamin's hand. Inside was a longevity lock. It was obviously handmade. It wasn't exquisite but it looked heartwarming. I heard that Auntie Su knitted it herself. Thank you for your hard work, Auntie, Hwamin said. Qin Chu hesitated for a moment and continued. Just now, Imperial Star's lawyer came with Suyu's gift for the kids. Hearing Suyu's name, Hwamin's heart sank again. Chapter 45-36. Hwamin was extremely grateful that Suyu had left hundreds of millions of yuan in trust funds for the three children. Although he knew that the Qin family was a top financial group and did not lack money, Suyu still acted like an elder and thought of a way out for the children. Qin Chu handed over a black brocade box inlaid with rich gold. It was square, only a little bigger than the jewelry box that held the rings. Hwamin held it in her hand and hesitated. She did not dare to open anything related to Suyu. She had just met him in her dream and even talked to him. Now that she had woken up from her dream, it felt like a lifetime had passed. Hwamin felt like she had met Suyu in her previous life or a long time ago. You just gave birth and your body is still weak. Why don't you wait a few days? Qin Chu saw that Hwamin was hesitating and did not dare to open the box. He seemed to have guessed what was on her mind, so he persuaded her in a low voice. It's okay. I want to see what Tycoon Su gave my son. Hwamin forced a smile and slowly opened the brocade box. Then tears welled up in her eyes again. There was no gold, silver or jewelry inside, nor were there any diamonds or jade, nor were there any land deeds or shares. It was not something valuable, or rather, something that could not be measured by money. It was just an ordinary bullet shell. However, it was plated with a layer of black gold by Suyu, which made it even more mysterious. Giving a bullet shell to a boy obviously meant that he hoped that he would grow up to be a tough guy. Originally, this was nothing. It was just Suyu's hope and good wishes for the child. However, Huomin knew what Suyu meant. A long time ago, Suyu had also given her a bullet shell like this. Although the color was different, it had a deep meaning. Suyu had said that she could take it and look for him anytime. He would do his best to fulfill one of her wishes. At that time, Huomin had even teased him, asking if he was Aladdin's magic lamp. After Huomin became pregnant with her second child, she had the following conversation with Suyu. Mian, if the baby is a boy, I'll give him a bullet shell. What? Huomin looked at Suyu. Tell him that as a man he needs to be upright and dignified. Don't be a sissy. But that's not the main point. The main point is that with this bullet shell, no matter when he finds me, I can fulfill one of his wishes. Here we go again. Are you a bullet shell expert? Why are you giving bullet casings to everyone? Huomian laughed. Suyu, on the other hand, had a serious expression on his face. I'm only this generous to you and your son. Then Huomin stopped smiling and fell silent. Yes, she knew in her heart that Suyu was only good to her and her child. Now that she held the bullet shell in her hand, Huomin felt that it was heavy. Even if the child grew up and held the bullet shell, he would never be able to find Suyu again. Right now, Suyu could no longer fulfill this kid's wishes because he was already asleep. Mian, you can't cry during your confinement. It's bad for your eyes. Chin-Chu quickly stood up and wiped away Huomin's tears. Honey, I just saw Suyu in my dream. Huomin smiled with tears in her eyes. Is he doing well? There was no jealousy on Chin-Chu's face, nor did he feel awkward. Instead, he asked very naturally. He's doing very well. He's still the same. That's good. I believe that Suyu's character and kindness over the years will definitely be rewarded. What we need to do now is quietly wait for him to come back, okay? Chin-Chu coaxed Huomin like he was coaxing a child. Chapter 45-37. Will he come back? Huomin asked Chin-Chu with uncertainty. I think so. I believe in Suyu's character. Chin-Chu wasn't a Buddhist, but he believed in karma. If one did too many bad things, they would be punished. If one did too many good things, they would also be rewarded. Although Suyu was a spoiled brat who could do whatever he wanted, he had never done anything outrageous. Especially after meeting Huomin, he became extremely kind. Chin-Chu felt that God wouldn't treat a kind person harshly, of course. This was just his personal opinion. After chatting with Chin-Chu for a while, two nurses came in with dinner, giggling. Director, it's time for dinner. Mr. Director, you look great today. Many people look haggard at night after surgery. As soon as the two nurses entered, the ward became much livelier. Huomin smiled slightly. It's not my first child, I'm not that delicate. Director, this is dinner specially prepared by the chef in the cafeteria. There's blackfish tofu soup for nourishing the body, 2 pieces of tax refund cake, red date millet porridge, stir-fried vegetables, and a dessert, blueberry cheesecake. No need for special treatment. Thank you for your hard work. It's not hard at all. Director, it's a joyous occasion to have a baby. Speaking of which, the young master is so handsome. When he was swimming, many people were watching. Honey, help me up. The incision isn't good. Lie down and don't move. I'll raise the bed for you and feed you. Seeing that the couple was about to show off their love again, the nurse left. Chin-Chu carefully raised the bed, put the pillow behind her and fed her. Halfway through the meal, everyone returned in a grandiose manner. Hugging her newborn son. Mian, how do you feel? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? Mama Chin asked. Mom, I'm fine. Mian, does it hurt? Yang Meong walked up and held her daughter's hand. Mom, it doesn't hurt anymore. The anesthetic might still be in effect. Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry. Sister-in-law, look at your son. He's so young, but he already knows how to flirt with girls. He just went for a swim and kept giggling at the pretty nurse. After speaking, Qin Ning carried the child and handed it over. Chin-Chu took the baby and showed it to Huomin. When he was born, Huomin was still dizzy, so he didn't take a good look at the little guy. Now he could finally take a good look. Sure enough, his eyebrows were exactly the same as Chin-Chu's. He couldn't help but sigh at the strength of genes. Mian, look, this kid looks like Chu, doesn't she? Mr. Qin was obviously very happy. Although he had always felt that having a granddaughter was already very good and perfect. But now that she had given birth to a second child, the Qin family was still in a state of jubilation. Even Qin Ning's father was so happy that he booked a plane ticket to fly back from America to see his grandson. Everyone stayed for a while. Seeing that Huimin was a little tired, they left one after another. Pudding and Little Bean were brought back to South Hill Manor by their grandparents. The newborn and Huimin stayed at the hospital. At around 7 p.m. Lady Sue arrived alone. She only brought a bodyguard with her and was very low-key. She wore a coffee-colored wool coat and a classic Hepburn hat, looking very ladylike. In her hand was a medium-sized thermos flask. Qin Chu quickly stood up. Mrs. Sue. Chapter 45-38. I'm here to see Mion. Auntie. Huimin was about to get up. However, Lady Sue stopped him. Silly boy, lie down. Don't move around, don't hurt yourself. Huimin smiled and leaned against the headboard quietly. I made some tonics for you at home. Mr. Sue and Lord Sue were going to come, but they heard that you're still in confinement. It's not good for men to come. Mr. Sue is very superstitious, so he said he'd leave for a while and come see you when you're discharged. They're all elders, don't treat me like this. When I'm out of confinement, I'll take the child to see them. Huimin was a bit flattered. It seemed like she would never be able to repay the Sue family's kindness in this lifetime. What are you talking about? We're family. Here, eat the bird's nest while it's hot. Lady Sue took out the tonics and watched Huimin eat while chatting with her calmly. The two of them never talked about Suyu. Suyu seemed to have become a taboo in the Sue family. Once it was mentioned, everyone in the Sue family would be heartbroken. After Lady Sue left, Qin Chu went downstairs to see her off. Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling came in to see Huimin. Director Wu, you've worked hard today. Zhu Lingling touched Huimin's head and joked with her. You two have to hurry up. I'm having my second child. You two have to give birth too. We'll never be able to catch up to you in this lifetime. Our genes are too good. Jiang Xiaowei laughed. Have you given the child a nickname? I heard it's called Qin Guoguo. Zhu Lingling laughed. Huimin was speechless. Ms. Zhu Lingling, who told you that? Your daughter is my daughter-in-law. Zhu Lingling said matter-of-factly. So my little bean has become a professional hater. Huimin said helplessly. Qin Guoguo is a good name. It's easy to raise. Zhu Lingling continued to tease. Then why don't you call Gaobuyan Ergo or Tai Dan? That would make him easier to raise. Huimin rolled his eyes. Jiang Xiaowei laughed out loud as she watched the two women fight. Alright, I won't joke around with you all. I have a matter that I would like to ask your opinions on. After joking around, Huimin stopped smiling and put on a serious face. What's the matter? Why are you so serious? Jiang Xiaowei moved a small stool and sat beside Huimin's bed. Zhu Lingling put her arms around Jiang Xiaowei's neck and leaned on her shoulder. The three women were indeed best friends and could talk about anything. Huimin dared to talk to them about things that he didn't want to talk to Qin Chu about. I want to give my son to the Sue family for adoption. Huimin's words were like a sudden clap of thunder. Zhu Lingling and Jiang Xiaowei were both shocked. Mian, are you crazy? You carried him for 10 months and gave birth to him. He's not a surrogate. You want to give your child to someone else? Zhu Lingling was agitated. Qin Chu won't agree, right? Jiang Xiaowei also thought it was inappropriate. I'll persuade him. My husband listens to me. Huimin lowered her head and said in a low voice. Woman, you're too impulsive. I know you feel guilty about the Sue family, but you can't joke about this, Zhu Lingling asked her. I'm not joking. I've been thinking about this for days. No. I don't agree. It's not easy for you to give birth to this child. You're 30 years old and don't even have a son. Now that you finally have one, you have to give it away. Zhu Lingling waved her hand, feeling sorry for Huimin. Jiang Xiaowei glanced at Huimin and tried to persuade her. I think Lord Sue won't agree to this either. Mrs. Sue suggested that Sue have a child with Han Yueyao, but he refused. What will the Sue family think if you give the child to him? They're not the type to take advantage of others. Chapter 45-39. Upon hearing Jiang Xiaowei's words, Huimin fell silent. Mian, I think After coming back from the dream you've become a bit impulsive. You don't care about the consequences of your actions. Right. Dr. Zhang's comments are right. Zhu Lingling joined Jiang Xiaowei in criticizing Huamin. Since they were best friends they didn't hide anything from each other. That's because I lost Su Yu forever. Huamin bit his lip and said with a trembling voice. We're all sad about what happened to Su Yu. Mian, you have to know that you're not the only one who's sad. Wei Liao grew up with Lord Su. After he came back he looked fine on the surface and even took over many of Imperial Star's affairs. But he hasn't been able to eat for days. He's only been drinking coffee every day and lost more than 10 pounds in a week. He's a man so he won't cry out loud like us. Jiang Xiaowei said emotionally. Huamin didn't say anything but he heard everything. And Tang Chuan you probably don't know but after he came back he's been drinking himself into a stupor every day. He doesn't even listen to Qin Ning. That day he got into a fight with someone at a nightclub and was almost stabbed. Everyone knows about it now and it was even photographed by tabloids and published on the entertainment section. Jiang Xiaowei looked at Huamin and said word by word. Gao Ran doesn't have a deep relationship with Lord Su, but he knows that Lord Su saved everyone's lives this time. So the atmosphere in our house is very tense. Zhu Lingling explained. Jiang Xiaowei reached out and tucked Huamin in. And Pudding and Little Bean. They cried and threw tantrums. On the surface it's all over, but Yunchu said that Pudding hasn't gone to bed until 2 a.m. these days. She said she can't sleep because she misses handsome Su. Upon hearing this Huamin burst into tears again. Mian, you have to know that no one has forgotten about Su Yu. Everyone is as sad as you are. But we can't give up on ourselves. Su Yu sacrificed himself for the stable life we have now so we have to cherish it even more. I believe that he wants everyone to be happy and not be sad every day. I know you're a Disney fan so you must have seen the popular animation Dream Quest. There's a line in it that I remember very well and I'll give it to you now. The true death is when no one in the world remembers you. Before the memory of love disappears, please let us always remember Su Yu. Death is not the end of life, forgetting is. We won't forget him, right? Huamin nodded with tears in his eyes. I'll never forget him for the rest of my life. Never. Huamin was already crying. Zhu Lingling was also touched by Jiang Xiaowei's words. However, Qin Chu soon returned, and the two of them didn't continue talking. Before she left, Jiang Xiaowei reminded Huamin, think about what happened just now. I hope that before you make a decision, you'll think about Qin Chu, your in-laws, and Pudding and Little Bean. Thank you, Xiaowei. Huamin was smart, so how could he not know what Jiang Xiaowei meant? Huamian's decision to give the child to the Su family was indeed impulsive. He thought that after Jiang Xiaowei left, Huamin would finally have some peace. However, he didn't expect that the last visitor would come. Sister Mian, I'm late. I hope I didn't disturb you. Han Yueyao stood at the door with a bouquet of lilies in her hands. Chapter 45-40. No. Oh, come in. Huamin waved his hand and called Han Yueyao in. After talking with Jiang Xiaowei and the others he was indeed tired. But seeing Han Yueyao, Huamin thought of many things. In fact, many things between Su Yu and Han Yueyao happened in the dream and didn't happen in the real world. But whether it was in the dream or in reality, Han Yueyao liked Su Yu. This was something everyone knew. Maybe only Su Yu didn't know. Or maybe Su Yu knew but never mentioned it. Sister Mian, congratulations on giving birth to a cute baby. I don't know what you need, so I bought 2 sets of new clothes when I passed by a maternity and baby store. Please don't mind. Han Yueyao handed him 2 newborn gift boxes. Huamin didn't refuse and let Qin Chu take them. Then he thanked her. Thank you, Yao. Sister Mian, take good care of yourself. Don't think too much. I heard from Auntie Su that you're not in a good mental state recently. But you have to think about your health. A healthy body is the foundation of a revolution. I heard you're going back to work after your confinement? Yes, I'm going back to Southside to resume my old job. Huamin smiled slightly. I believe it's a benefit for many patients. After all, you're a genius doctor with medical ethics, Han Yueyao praised. But no matter how good I am and how many people I can save, I can't save Su Yu. After Huamin said that, Han Yueyao's eyes became sad. Yao, do you hate me? Why do you ask, Sister Mian? All the women who like Su Yu hate me. Jen Tong, Zhao Qingya and Xing Ro. In short, they think Su Yu is blind to like me. After all, Su Yu has been so good to me but I've never reciprocated. Do you want me to tell you the truth? Sister Mion. Han Yueyao looked at Huamin and enunciated each word. They tell me. At this point I won't blame you for anything you say, Huamin said calmly. Han Yueyao shook her head. The truth is I don't hate you at all. In fact, I like you very much. Huamian was slightly surprised, but she didn't see any hypocrisy in Han Yueyao's eyes. She was afraid that Han Yueyao meant what she said. Before Huamin could speak, Han Yueyao said, When I heard about Suyu, I thought you must be an unparalleled beauty. Then I found that Suyu didn't like your looks. He liked your personality, your inner qualities and your character. The more time I spend with you, the more I understand your rare and precious qualities. So I think Suyu isn't blind. He and President Qin both have the best taste in you in the world. I think it's his greatest pride to fall in love with someone as outstanding as you. Yao Yao. Huamin was surprised by Han Yueyao's words. Sister Mion, the truth is I really want to give birth to a child for Suyu. I want to leave an heir for him. It's not that I'm noble, I'm selfish. I want to maintain a complicated relationship with Suyu. But Master Lord Su's words reminded me. Even if I give birth to 10 children for Suyu, so what if we're inextricably linked? He'll never fall in love with me, whether it's in a dream or in the real world, whether he's asleep or awake. Huamin suddenly found Han Yueyao was very wise, emotional and even magnanimous. Sister Mion, I've made up my mind. I'll stay at Imperial Star and continue to be a star. I'll wait and see when Suyu will come back. Let me grow old while waiting, okay? Yao Yao. You. Huamin wanted to say something but stopped on second thought. Han Yueyao suddenly changed the topic. Sister Mion, I heard President Qin still owes you a grand wedding. Now that you've given birth to the baby and your figure has recovered, when are you getting married? Huamin was surprised by Han Yueyao's question and didn't know how to answer. She glanced at Qin Chu, who wasn't far away. Chapter 45-42. At the Su family's old residence. After the mysterious death of a certain military chief, Old Master Su retired early to recuperate. Although the higher-ups had invited him many times, the old master refused. After losing his beloved grandson, he seemed to have aged a lot overnight. No matter how majestic he used to be, he only wanted to live in seclusion. Dad, Master Wu is here. Lady Su knocked on the door and said softly. Let him in. Master Lord Su put down the teacup in his hand. Master Wu was wearing a green sweatshirt and an expensive bracelet from Suyu. Overall, Master Wu was much cleaner and tidier than before. Perhaps it was a habit he had developed after coming to Sea City. After Master Wu entered, he nodded slightly at the old master. Sit. Lady Su knew that the old master must have something important to say to Master Wu, so she left. In the study of the Su family's old residence. At first the old master was just chatting with Master Wu, but then the two of them almost finished a pot of Longjing tea. Finally Master Lord Su said, Little Wu, I know you're quite capable. Otherwise, my arrogant grandson wouldn't be willing to kowtow and acknowledge you as his master. No. Just think of me as a swindler. Master Wu smiled mischievously. To be honest, you should know why I called you here today. I know. It's about Suyu. Master Wu knew very well. Suyu's matter had become a thorn in the Su family's heart. Suyu's coma had become everyone's injury. Seeing that he had made it so clear, Lord Su nodded. That's right, it's about you. Old master. With all due respect, I really can't save Suyu. Maybe there's such an expert in this world, but my ability is limited. Even if you exhaust me to death, I can't find an exit to get Suyu out. I'm really sorry. Before the old master could speak, Master Wu explained everything. Suyu had been in a coma for more than a year. Huamin's second child could already walk. For more than a year, everyone went to see Suyu almost every week as if he was really asleep. Huamin insisted on going every week. He would talk to Suyu alone for a while. Sometimes she would bring the twins and sometimes she would carry her second child. And then Master Wu had been living in Suyu's private villa and couldn't bear to leave, even though they knew that Suyu wouldn't wake up. In the past year or so, almost everyone had asked Master Wu this question. This included Huamin. She had even said that she wanted to accompany Suyu in his dreams. But Master Wu was really helpless. When Suyu entered the dream for the second time, Master Wu had already warned him seriously and told him all the consequences. However, Su still did it without any regrets. He knew what the consequences would be, but he still did it. This was his own choice. It was understandable that everyone wanted to save him. However, Master Wu really couldn't do it, so he felt that it was better to talk things out when the old master wanted to see him alone. Don't give everyone hope, Wu, you might have misunderstood. I didn't ask you to come here today to save you. I know you don't have the ability, so I won't make things difficult for you. Old master, then you are. Master Wu was a little surprised as he looked at the white-haired old man. I actually want to ask you a question. Go ahead. If he dies in the real world, then will his soul leave the dream? Master Lord Su asked word by word with a heavy expression. Master Wu was shocked when he heard this. Old master, what do you mean? Chapter 45-43. Master Lord Su glanced at Master Wu. Answer my question first. Old master, to be honest, I don't know if it will happen. But the situation is like this. Suyu isn't dead yet, he's just unconscious. You can think of it as his body is still there, but his soul is imprisoned in the nightmare world. That place is extremely desolate and Suyu is alone there. He won't age or die there. He can't leave. And if Suyu's body is gone or if he's dead, then he will be completely dead in the dream. As for the person who died in the nightmare, I don't know where his soul went. Of course, one thing is for sure. After he dies, his soul shouldn't belong to the dream world anymore. So what you're saying is, if we don't do anything and let you stay unconscious like this, he might be trapped forever. We're guarding a soulless body and we might never see hope. But if he dies, there might be a different ending. Old master, you have to think twice. I know what you want to do, but the problem now is, Suyu isn't dead and his body is still there. Maybe when the time comes or if he meets an expert he might be able to be saved. But he might never wake up and be in a vegetative state forever, the old man interrupted. Master Wu said hurriedly, but if he really dies then he'll disappear forever. His body won't be there and his soul won't be there either. You and Suyu will have nothing to do with each other anymore. Whether he reincarnates or transmigrates to his previous life. In short, Suyu will completely disappear from this world. I know, the old man lowered his head and said solemnly. Old master, you're not thinking of. Master Wu seemed to have guessed what the old man was thinking. That's what I think. I don't want to see you live like a piece of trash for the rest of his life. I'd rather start a new life for him. Even if he has nothing to do with me from now on and is no longer a member of the Su family. I don't want him to be alone in that barren place for the rest of his life. Compared to death, endless loneliness is scarier, isn't it? The old man's words shocked Master Wu so much that he couldn't say a word. As expected of an elder, as expected of a great figure. He had led soldiers for a lifetime and his bones were firm and unyielding. Master Wu understood that in this world, the person who doted on Suyu the most was probably the old master. He loved Suyu more than anyone else, but it was because of this love that he could not watch his grandson become a vegetable for the rest of his life. Therefore he was willing to part with his treasures. Then, do Yu's parents agree? After a while Master Wu asked this question. I will discuss this matter with them. I called you here today to ask about the final result. If you put it that way, it's true. Although the method is a little cruel, it's undeniable that this is a method that isn't really a method. Perhaps, it's really better than him being in a vegetative state for the rest of his life? The night after Master Wu left, Master Lord Su called everyone over for a meeting. Everyone related to Suyu was present. Huamin, Qin Chu, Tang Chuan, Qin Ning, Wei Liao, Jiang Shaowei, Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling. Other than Cici and the children who were brought to the United States by Rick, everyone else was here. Master Lord Su, everyone is here. You can announce it now. Qin Chu knew that Lord Su had something important to announce. Otherwise he wouldn't have gathered so many people. The old man looked around and sighed slightly. I plan to euthanize you. His words shocked the entire crowd. Chapter 45-44. Master Lord Su, why? Huamin was almost crying. Everyone was thinking about how to save Suyu, but Master Lord Su wanted to euthanize him. Was he still his biological grandfather? Huamin's question was indeed what everyone wanted to ask. Now don't be rash. Listen to Lord Su first. Qin Chu was the most rational. Although Lord Su was old, he wasn't muddle-headed at all. He had been high and mighty his entire life. What big decision had he not made? Why would he harm his grandson for no reason? Therefore, when everyone fell silent again, Lord Su repeated what he had said to Master Wu today. After hearing this, everyone fell silent again. Jiang Shaowei calmed down first and asked, Master Lord Su, can you really be so heartless? Master Lord Su looked at everyone and said slowly, when I think about you being alone in that desolate place, I wish I was a heartless grandfather. So today's decision wasn't rash. It's been a year. Everyone wants him to wake up, but we all know that he won't wake up. This continues year after year. Even if I die and you guys get old, you might not see the day you wakes up. When I think about him being alone in that place, my heart hurts. There's no grandfather in this world who doesn't love his grandson. I feel 100 times worse than you guys when I make this decision, but I have to make a prompt decision. After Lord Su finished speaking, no one said anything because they didn't know what to say. Huamin was already sobbing softly on Qin Chu's body. After giving birth to her second child, Huamin had been suffering from postpartum depression for a long time. Fortunately, Qin Chu accompanied her day and night. Only then did she slowly walk out of the shadows. However, she still didn't dare to mention Su Yu's name. This became her biggest weakness. Now that Lord Su wanted to euthanize Su Yu, it was equivalent to killing Su Yu. Although Su Yu hadn't woken up yet, his physical body was still there. At the very least, it gave everyone something to think about. However, if the patient was euthanized, the corpse would be cremated according to the rules of the family of a high-ranking official. Then he was buried in the cemetery in the northern suburbs. At that time, Su Yu would really not be able to come back. Or he would completely disappear from this world. Seeing that no one was speaking, he felt extremely sad. Mr. Su took off his glasses and wiped away his tears. As Yu's father, I have to say a few words. I understand that everyone is good to him and can't bear to part with him. Grandpa loves his grandson and you all know that. Although my father's decision is cruel, logically speaking, it might be Yu's last chance. So, I hope that everyone can agree and give us some strength so that we can make this decision and give you his final release. After hearing this, Lady Su fainted on the ground from crying. Huamin quickly helped Lady Su up and sent her to her room to rest like the nanny. After returning from the Su family, Huamin's heart was extremely heavy. He didn't say a word along the way and just kept looking out of the car window. Mion, if you don't want to, I'll talk to Lord Su later. Qin Chu knew that Huamin didn't want Su Yu to be euthanized. Don't. Since Lord Su has already made his decision, we shouldn't interfere. After all, this is the best way for Su Yu. Huamin tried hard to hold back his tears, but his heart was already filled with devastation. Chapter 45:45. The day Su Yu was euthanized was the beginning of May. Spring was already blooming in Sea City in the north. Inside Su Yu's private mansion, everyone was wearing black formal attire to send him off for the last time. Looking at Su Yu, who was still unconscious on the bed, Huamin had mixed feelings. Why don't I do it? Seeing that Huamin's heart softened and she couldn't do it, Qin Chu wanted to snatch the needle from her hand. Unexpectedly, Huamin dodged. The twins were taken out by Qin Chu's parents to play and avoided this scene. Huamin held a syringe in her hand, her fingers trembling. Master Wu couldn't bear it and turned his head away, not daring to look. Do it. Seeing that Huamin was unwilling to do anything, Lord Su shouted sternly. As expected of someone from the military, he was still bold. It was a military order. Huamin bit her lip. Then she walked over and lifted Su Yu's arm. She slowly injected the life-or-death drug into Su Yu's blood vessels. Then, everyone saw that Huamin's face was covered in tears. Perhaps no one knew how she felt at this moment. She thought back to many years ago when she first met Su Yu. Su Yu had strained his ligaments in a car accident and was recuperating at Southside like a boss. At that time, so many young and beautiful nurses were giving Su Yu injections, but they were all chased out by Su Yu. There was even a nurse whose head was smashed by Su Yu with an ashtray. The situation was critical. As a nurse, Huamin had just gone to Southside. She was fearless and was used as a gun. She was sent directly to Su Yu's ward. With her courage and skills, she finally convinced Su Yu. As a result, Suyu started to have feelings of ignorance towards her. Before meeting Huamin, Suyu had many women. After meeting Huamin, Suyu only liked Huamin. All of this originated from the injection he received in the hospital back then. Now Huamin gave Suyu the final injection, hoping to end his endless loneliness. Everyone hoped that this would allow Suyu to escape from the nightmare. After the needle was inserted, she watched as Suyu's lips gradually turned purple. Huamin felt his vision darken. Then he lost consciousness. When Huamin woke up again, Suyu's funeral had already ended. He was buried in the cemetery in the northern suburbs, a place with great scenery. For a long time Huamin didn't dare to go. He didn't dare to face the fact that Suyu was dead. It was about 18 months before Qin Guogua could speak. When Qin Guogua learned to speak, Huamin taught him to speak. Only then did she take the little guy to pay respects to Suyu. Han Yueao also went to Suyu's funeral. She wore a long black dress. That day she dressed up beautifully. She had a smile on her face the entire time. She didn't cry. She told herself not to cry. She said that Suyu ended his loneliness and escaped from the dream that trapped him. Chapter 45-46. Son, you're awake. You almost scared mommy to death. The first thing Suyu saw was that the woman leaning over his bed was actually, Mom? Are you here? Suyu had been used to being alone in the nightmare world for a long time. He thought that he would always be alone. He didn't expect to see his mother when he opened his eyes. What kind of ecstasy was this? Are you stupid? Of course, I heard that you were in a car accident, so I immediately rushed over. Fortunately, you're fine, it's just a ligament strain. Car accident? Ligament strain? Suyu was obviously completely dumbfounded. What was going on? His mother kept chattering, but Suyu didn't have the patience to listen. He just reached out and wrapped his arms tightly around his mother's neck. I love you so much. Faced with her son's sudden confession, Lady Su was slightly stunned. Then she smiled with tears in her eyes and said with relief, You brat, you almost scared me to death. Now that you've died once, you know how precious life is. Let's see if you can still do it in the future. Do you want to play some Wang Ming race? Suyu only smiled and didn't say anything. I didn't dare to tell your grandfather and father about this. Otherwise they would definitely scold you. Thank you, Mom. You dote on me the most. Alright, you just woke up. Rest well first. I'll go talk to your doctor about your situation, then I'll go home and make you something to eat. What do you want to eat? Sauerkraut dumplings, Suyu said with a cheeky smile. You're greedy. Just you wait. Then Lady Su walked out of the ward gracefully. Suyu took a deep breath. What was going on? Wasn't he trapped in the nightmare world? Was he dreaming? That wasn't right. Master Wu said that in the nightmare world one wouldn't age, die, be hungry or thirsty. One wouldn't feel anything, just like a living dead. Naturally he wouldn't be dreaming. So what was going on? Before he could figure it out, the door was pushed open again. President Zhu, I heard about what happened to you as soon as I got off the plane. He scared me to death. Are you okay? Where are you hurt? Let me take a look. Just listening to the voice made one's scalp tingle. This coquettish voice was extremely recognizable. Suyu turned his head. It was indeed Zhao Qingya. She was wearing a pair of brown sunglasses and holding a Hermes platinum bag. She walked over with her hips swaying. Don't touch me. Seeing her reach out to touch his hand, Suyu hurriedly scolded her. President Su, what's wrong with you? Are you blaming me for being late? This is the earliest flight. Really, I swear I rushed over as soon as I heard about your accident. Zhao Qingya said, sobbing. Suyu was a little confused. Then he seemed to have understood something. Zhao Qingya was still alive? And a celebrity at that. He had a ligament strain. Car accident? Could it be that he had transmigrated? He had transmigrated to many years ago when he first met Huamin. At that thought, Suyu's heart started to race. If it was really this year, he should be able to see Huamin soon. At that thought, Suyu couldn't wait to ask Zhao Qingya, what year is it now? 2016. Zhao Qingya was confused. Is the most advanced phone on the market success? Suyu asked excitedly. Zhao Qingya nodded in a daze. Is this Southside Hospital? President Su. What's wrong? Zhao Qingya was scared out of her wits, thinking that Suyu was possessed. Answer me, is this Southside Hospital? Suyu asked anxiously. Chapter 45-47. Zhao Qingya quickly replied, "This is Southside Hospital. President Su, please calm down." Looks like I'm really. Suyu couldn't suppress his ecstasy. Why did Master Wu say that he would be trapped in a nightmare forever? Wasn't he back now? Could it be that his character was off the charts? President Su, go out first. I want to be alone for a while. President Su, get out. Yes. Seeing President Su's firm attitude, Zhao Qingya didn't dare to continue acting coquettishly. After all, she knew that this young master had a bad temper. After Zhao Qingya wobbled out, Suyu wanted to get up and look for Huamin. However, his ligament was injured and he couldn't move his legs freely. At this moment he smartly raised his hand. He pressed the emergency bell beside the bed. After 3 beeps, the phone rang. A young nurse immediately rushed into the ward. "Young Master Su, what can I do for you? Where's Huamin? Tell her to come and see me." Suyu felt his heart race. He never dared to think that he would have the chance to see Huamin again. Therefore, when he realized that he was back, the first thing he did was to look for Huamin. As for Tang Chuan and Old Wei, he wasn't in a hurry. He would slowly look for them. After all, they wouldn't be able to run away. Huamin. The nurse was stunned. "Don't you have a nurse named Huamin here?" There is one, but she's resting today. Tell her to come and see me immediately," Suyu said excitedly. "Young Master Su, Huamin is resting and went home. We don't have the right to ask her to come back. How about tomorrow? Tell your director to come here. Tell your director to come and see me. Hurry up, cut the crap." 15 minutes later, President Wu, who had just finished a meeting, was called to the ward by Suyu. Then he made only one request. "I want to see Huamin immediately, no matter what method you use." President Wu didn't know what relationship Suyu had with this nurse named Huamin. But seeing how anxious and determined the crown prince was, he didn't dare to offend him. Therefore he immediately called Huamin personally. Huamin was eating at home. Yang Meirong made scallion pancakes and tomato soup. Huamin was only halfway through her meal when she received a call from the director asking her to return to the hospital. Huamin reluctantly got up, not forgetting to take a biscuit in his hand before he left. "Aren't you resting? Why do you still want to go?" Mother asked. "The director said that there's an emergency at the hospital." "It's okay, Mom, you guys eat first. Don't wait for me to come back, I'll heat it up myself." "Sis, be careful," Xixing reminded her. "No problem." Because President Wu repeatedly said that it was an emergency, Huamin took a taxi and said that the hospital would reimburse the taxi fare. Huamin stopped a taxi and went straight to Southside Recuperation Center. Chapter 45-48. No one knew how excited Suyu was at this moment. He was like a hungry wolf, pouncing on him because he was afraid that this was all a dream. He was afraid that when he woke up from this dream all of this would be gone. Then he would have to go back to that damn desert. "Huh? What are you doing?" Huamin pushed him away forcefully. Then he looked at Suyu with disdain. Suyu, on the other hand, couldn't express his surprise or excitement. "It's so good to see you." His eyes were red. President Wu coughed awkwardly and said faintly, "Huamin, do you know young Master Su?" Huamin shook his head in confusion. Suyu said with a cheeky smile, "It's okay, Wu, go do your thing. We'll get to know each other soon. This person is shameless." Huamin muttered in a low voice. You guys talk first." President Wu felt that he was a little redundant and took the opportunity to leave. "Director, didn't you call me back because it was urgent?" Huamin looked at the director, unwilling to give up. "Yes, young Master Su wants to see you." Huh? Huamian was confused again. Was this the bullshit reason why she had to spend more than 30 yuan on a taxi and didn't even have time to eat properly? Young Master Su, right? What's the matter? Hearing that this person was looking for him, Huamin rolled his eyes impatiently. Suyu wasn't angry at all. He reached out his hand and said pitifully, "Mian, the nurses in your hospital are too bad at acupuncture. They're about to stab me full of holes. I heard that your skills are the best here. From today onwards, can you give me in 4? I'm off today." Huamin looked at him with disdain again. "I can pay you overtime." Don't think that you can bribe me with money, Huamin said righteously, 3,000 yuan a day. In the end, Suyu added, RMB. Huamin was stunned for a moment. Then he glanced at Suyu and said, deal. As expected, there was no one who didn't love money. Huamin felt that there was no need for him to go against money. With Suyu's words, they all felt more motivated to work. Huamin jogged over with the tray and equipment for the infusion. Then Suyu obediently lay on the hospital bed and waited for Huamin to perform acupuncture. This posture was completely like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. You know me? Huamin suddenly asked him. Suyu shook his head. He was determined not to admit it because Huamin didn't know him yet. He didn't want her to think that he was crazy. Then why did you call me Mian just now? Huamin was indeed a meticulous Virgo and noticed something was wrong. I heard it from the other nurses here. But I don't know you well. I know. Suyu smiled. So don't call me Mian from now on, okay? Suyu continued to smile. It's the first time I've seen such a strange patient like you. Are you happy to have a fracture? Huamin glanced at Suyu's face indifferently as if he was looking at an idiot. Yes, it's my honor to be hospitalized at Southside. It's even more my honor to have Beauty Hua personally perform acupuncture, hee. Suyu's mouth was as sweet as honey. You're good at flirting. Unfortunately, I don't fall for it. I am done. Don't move, be careful of the needle rolling. Huamin picked up the tray and was about to leave. Mian, I told you not to call me Mian. Huamin turned around and glared at her. However, in Suyu's eyes, her angry face was also very charming. Hey, Huamin. Is there anything else? She looked at him warily. Oh Huamin, my name is Suyu. Nice to meet you in the future. Suyu looked at Huamin and said word by word. Chapter 45-49. You're crazy. Huamian left after saying that out of the blue. If it weren't for the overtime pay of 3,000 yuan, she wouldn't have given this crazy guy an injection. Although 3,000 yuan wasn't a lot, it was enough for Jixin's living expenses for 2 months. Therefore sometimes Huamin had no bottom line for money. After Huamin left, Qin Chu lay on the hospital bed and looked at his arm. The needle that Huamin had injected just now made him feel happy. Those who didn't know would think that he was crazy, however, he knew that he wasn't crazy. He had never been more clear-headed than at this moment. This hard-won happiness. Even though he knew that he still had no chance of winning after transmigrating back to this time because Huamin already had Qin Chu. At this rate, Huamin and Qin Chu were already in a secret marriage. However, it was enough for him to see Mian again. Hearing her speak and seeing her bright eyes, Suyu raised his left hand that wasn't injected and touched his neck. The amulet was still there. He looked at his left wrist and saw that the peace rope that Master Wu had given him was still there. These things constantly reminded him that he was from the future. Suddenly, he thought of something and picked up his phone to make a call. Then in the next second, Wei Liao and Tang Chuan rushed in. Ritsu, how is it? Which leg is it? Will it affect your posture? Young Master Tang's words were indeed dirty, just like his personality. Wei Liao didn't say anything and just smiled at Suyu. Seeing his old friend again. His heart was filled with excitement. However, Suyu had no choice but to pretend to be calm. You two came to see me empty-handed? What else? Do I have to carry a big rooster for you? Tang Chuan teased. Suyu, or black chicken soup? Wei Liao continued. I'm not in confinement. Stop bullshitting me. Suyu was speechless. Stop joking. How did you lose this time? Your driving skills can be called the god of racing. How can you lose to that little brat? No, his car was tampered with. When he lost control at the edge of the cliff, he almost flipped over. You saved him. Tang Chuan was stunned. I guess so. I can't just watch him and his car flip over. Suyu recalled a car accident many years ago. He had strained his ligaments and was hospitalized at Southside. Originally, he was racing with a young racer, but that kid's car broke down halfway. Almost killed. Suyu had saved him in a moment of desperation, but he had gotten stuck and strained his ligaments. Fortunately, it wasn't serious. Speaking of which, this was a very low-key good deed that Suyu had done. Sure, our Lord Su is doing charity now. Don't tell me it's useless. When I recover. Do you want to arrange a drinking party? I want a drink. Suyu was eager to try. He couldn't remember how long it had been since he had drunk with these two guys. No problem. When you recover and are discharged, you can drink as much as you want in my wine cellar. Tang Chuan was also generous. At this moment, the door to the ward opened again. Boss, when An walked in, Suyu felt a lump in his throat and was touched. This kid had been with him for many years and he never left him even in his dreams. After everyone left, he wondered how An was doing. Boss, the thing you asked me to investigate, An was about to say. Suyu interrupted him. Ahem. There's no rush. We'll talk about it later. Go and buy us some drinks. I want orange juice. Suyu sent An away. After Tang Chuan and Wei Liao left, Suyu called An in alone. Boss, I've found out what you asked me to investigate. How is it? Suyu actually wanted to ask how long Qin Chu had been back and how long he had been secretly married to Huamin. Boss, are you mistaken? There's no such person as Qin Chu. At least there's no such person here. There are many people in the country but their age and education don't match. Most importantly, the Miss Hui you asked me to investigate did have a boyfriend, but his name is Ning Ziyuan. I heard that they broke up and Miss Hui is single now. What did you say? Suyu looked at An in shock. Chapter 45-50. An was shocked by his boss's question. He stammered, Boss, please recall carefully. Did you remember the name wrongly? I really didn't find Qin Chu. Impossible. Hearing An's report, Suyu rejected it without hesitation. How could there be no Qin Chu? He was the man Huamin loved the most in her life. His most powerful opponent. Then, do you want me to investigate again? Go. Suyu was a little flustered. He waved his hand and asked An to leave first. Then he lay on the bed with mixed feelings. He did not know what he was experiencing. What was this? But he was indeed back. He touched the edge of the bed and looked at everything in the ward. It did not seem like a dream. However, it was hard to say. The dream created by the dream creator was exactly the same as the real thing. Could it be that he had encountered another nightmare? Was there no Qin Chu in the nightmare? Suyu's mind went wild. He thought of a lot of things that he could think of and couldn't think of. He tried to convince himself. The next morning, Huamin came to give Suyu an injection in the morning as instructed. She was wearing a loose white coat. When she entered, Suyu was eating breakfast. Lady Su was feeding her son porridge. You're not done yet. I'll come back later. Huamin saw that Suyu was eating and turned to leave. I'm full. Come and give me an injection. Suyu quickly wiped his mouth. Son, didn't you just eat 2 mouthfuls? Lady Su looked at her son in surprise. She could not understand him. Mom, I have no appetite. I won't eat for now. Please go out for a while. I need an injection. So what if I get an injection? What does it matter if I go out or not? Madame Su was baffled. Suyu smiled slightly. How is that the same? You're in the room and I'm nervous. What if my hand trembles and the nurse stabs it in the wrong way? Who's going to be responsible then? Lady Su. All right, Mother Empress. Hurry up and leave. Be good. Suyu coaxed his mother out. Only he and Huamin were left in the ward. Huamin was wearing a pair of black-rimmed glasses. His outfit made him look very old-fashioned. After all, the young nurses at Southside were all dressed sexily. Huamin, on the other hand, was well-behaved. Was he doing this on purpose? You haven't eaten anything yet, so your stomach might feel uncomfortable if you get in 4 drip. Are you sure you don't want to continue eating? Huamin looked at him and asked in the tone of a professional nurse. I can eat. How about you feed me? Suyu looked at Huamin with a cheeky smile. You're not my son, why would I feed you? Sure enough, even though time had traveled, even in a dream, Huamin was still Huamin. He was sharp-tongued and didn't hesitate to scold others. Suyu had experienced this many years ago. At that time he felt very wronged when he was scolded. Now that he was scolded by Huamin again, he felt very happy. After Huamin skillfully inserted the needles into Suyu, he looked at the 4 drip. Don't move around. Watch yourself. There are 3 bottles today. When you want to change the medicine, ring the bell and call me. Can't you stay and watch the 4 drip for me? I spent a lot of money at your hospital. Suyu continued to tease him. Do you think you're the only patient I have? I have to go next door. If you want someone to watch you, you might as well pay a nurse. After speaking, Huamin stood up to leave. Hey. No, no, Miss Hua Di, no Chin Chu? Siyu asked in a panic. In fact, he regretted asking this question. What if the answer wasn't what he wanted? Wouldn't he be making things difficult for himself? Chapter 45-51. Huamin froze when he heard Chin Chu's name. Then he shook his head. I don't know him. Siyu stared into her eyes the whole time. Eyes were the best at telling lies. Besides, Huamin was a person who never liked to lie. After Huamin finished speaking, he opened the door and left. Siyu, on the other hand, couldn't suppress the ecstasy in his heart. Without Chin Chu, there really wouldn't be a Chin Chu. Last night he asked In to check again and again, but he still couldn't find anyone in the city who matched Chin Chu. Most importantly, there was no GK Corporation or the Chin family. What Siyu didn't know was why such a bug would appear after time was turned back. Without Chin Chu, what kind of ecstasy would Siyu be? He would no longer have to bear the accusation of being a third party, and he would no longer have to carefully have a crush on Huamin. He would be good friends with her for life. According to the information and brought back, Huamin's relationship history was as follows. When she was in university, she had a boyfriend named Ning Ziyuan. Later, when the two families were planning to buy a house and get married, she found out that Ning Ziyuan had an affair with a female nurse from the first hospital, and then Huamin broke up with him. Then she was transferred to Southside. Everything was exactly the same as before. Except that Chin Chu was missing. Could it be that this was a special gift from God to him? Siyu was so excited that he wanted to cry. He never thought that he would have the chance to experience such a moment. At this moment, Lady Su came back and went straight into the kitchen. She heated up the porridge and continued to bring it to Siyu. Son, come eat some more. Otherwise your stomach will feel uncomfortable. Mom, I'll do it myself. Siyu happily picked up the spoon with his other hand and drank big mouthfuls. Be careful, no one will steal it from you. Don't burn yourself. Mom, you look so beautiful today. This dress is beautiful. Is it the one I gave you for your birthday last time? Yes, you have good taste. Your dad also said that this style suits me. Lady Su was in a good mood. She adjusted the scarf around her neck. This brand is not bad. I'll buy more for you when I go on a business trip to Europe. Oh, what's wrong with you today? You seem to be in a good mood. A mother knew her son best. Lady Su realized that her son, who had always been bad-tempered, was in a good mood today. He was still in the mood to praise her dress, and even promised to buy her a new dress. The sun really rose from the west. Although Siyu had always been filial and treated her well, her son would never tell her about buying a dress. I like a girl. Suyu's words stunned Lady Su. Then Lady Su sighed. I know. Isn't she the girl in your company who recently acted in a costume drama? She's pretty, but your grandfather doesn't like people in the entertainment industry. I'm sure you know that. If you like her, date her first. If it's really to the point of marriage, you can ask her to leave the entertainment industry and keep a low profile for a while. Then bring her back for everyone to see. Elders were always very cautious when it came to relationships. Lady Su didn't like gossip. She was a real rich lady and was very cultured. However, she still paid a lot of attention to her son's matters. She knew very well what kind of shows Suyu's entertainment company produced every year and who he supported. Lady Su knew that her son had been supporting a girl named Zhao Qingya recently. She thought that Siyu was talking about her. Who knew? It was someone else. Mom, it's not Zhao Qingya. She's not from my company. My company is just putting on a show. This girl is the one I really like. How do you like her? Tell me, Lady Su said with a smile as she peeled an apple. When I saw her, my heart raced. I felt like all the flowers in the world had bloomed. Siyu said emotionally. Chapter 45-52. Suyu's description made Lady Su convulse with laughter. Siyu was speechless. Mom, is it that funny? I owe for my son to use such mushy words to describe her. This girl isn't simple. Tell me, where did such a magical conch girl come from? How did she charm you? Forget it, I won't tell you for now. I'll tell you when I catch up with her and have news. You mean you haven't succeeded yet? Siyu nodded. Yes, I haven't succeeded. Okay, when you succeed, bring her home and have a meal with me. Mom, you'll definitely like her very much. Since Lady Su and Huamin were so close, Suyu was full of confidence. You're that confident? Yes, she's a very, very good girl. Suyu used two very, very words which piqued Lady Su's curiosity. After Lady Su took care of her son, she went home with the bodyguards and maids. When she bumped into An in the corridor, Lady Su did not forget to ask him, "Has young master been in contact with any girls recently?" "No, young master has been in the hospital recently. It's inconvenient for him to move around, so he hasn't gone anywhere." "Could it be someone from the hospital?" After saying this, Lady Su left the hospital curiously. Suyu was bored as he stared at his 4-bottle. He felt that he was walking too slowly, so he reached out and sped up the 4-drip. When he saw that the medicine was about to run out, he immediately pressed the bell. Sure enough, in less than 3 minutes, Huamin came over from the on-call desk. "You're done so soon?" Huamin looked at the 4-bottle. It was indeed almost empty. "Yeah. Hurry up and change the dressing," Suyu said with a smile. Huamin looked up and swapped the new 4-drip with the one he had just brought. Then he glanced at Suyu. "Don't go so fast. It'll irritate your stomach." "Got it, Madam Nurse." Hearing how Suyu addressed him, Huamin was slightly startled. Didn't they say that an ancestor was staying in this VIP ward? What did he mean by the man of the hour in the city? His temper was extremely bad. Why couldn't Huamin see a trace of violence on his face? On the contrary, she felt that he was a polite and patient person after interacting with him a few times. What the hell? Huamin was about to leave after changing his dressing. Suyu picked up a big apple with his other hand. "Miss Nurse." Huamin turned around. Suyu directly threw the apple over. Fortunately, Huamin reacted in time and caught it. "What?" She looked at him. "Thank you for your help. I'll treat you to an apple." "Che," Huamin clicked his tongue and laughed. He picked up the apple and left. As soon as Huamin left and came in, then he heard his boss in a particularly beautiful mood. Why was he in a particularly beautiful mood? Because he was whistling. What kind of song was he whistling? And listened carefully, and almost spat out. Because the melody was secretly asking the holy monk if his daughter was beautiful. Was his daughter beautiful? Wasn't this the theme song of Journey to the West? What was wrong with his boss? Why was he whistling all of a sudden? And walked over quietly. "Boss." "Yes." "Did you win the 2-colored ball first prize?" And asked in a low voice. Suyu was speechless. "What nonsense are you thinking about all day? The lottery is a scam. It's specially made to trick a little idiot like you. That's strange. What made you so happy that you actually started whistling?" And was puzzled. Chapter 45-53. Suyu rolled his eyes. "It's none of your business." And, well, ever since his boss woke up from the car accident and had felt strange. At first he thought that it was because his head was injured. Later he heard from Lady Su and the doctor that other than some ligaments being pulled, everything else was fine. And Suyu still insisted that he had traveled through time. Or perhaps it was the most popular rebirth. But there was one thing he didn't understand. Why wasn't Chinchu at this time? He even investigated Huamin's childhood. Huamin had studied in second high school and junior high, and he had entered as the top scholar in the middle school examination. It was said that he had a full scholarship. Not only did he not have to spend money to go to school, but he also had a lot of school subsidies every year. Logically speaking, with his results he should have been able to go abroad. But why did he study in a third-rate university? It was because something happened to Huamin's stepfather, and it was related to Chinchu's family, causing a blood feud between the two families. Now that even Chinchu was gone, why did Huamin choose to go to a third-rate university? At this moment Suyu discovered another surprise. Without Chinchu, Jingda's tragedy didn't happen. So Jingda was still alive and well in this world. It was just that their lives were a little hard, so they went abroad to work. It was said that they were doing labor service in Africa. They had a 2-year contract, but they hadn't returned yet. Suyu felt that the people and things around him were the same as before. Including Wei Liao and Tang Chuan. Including Huamin's good friend Zhu Lingling. And was still by his side, and Zhao Qinya, Jian Tong and Ye Lingxian were still in the company. Then why was Chinchu's line broken? What went wrong? The more he thought about it, the more his head hurt. Suyu simply took the opportunity to take an afternoon nap. Before taking a nap, she did not forget to instruct An, Help me keep an eye on the 4 drip. If the medicine runs out, immediately find the little nurse named Huamin to change it. Shaoan nodded and then felt puzzled. His boss didn't even remember the names of the artists in his company. How could he remember the name of a nurse from Southside so clearly? Could it be that the boss had feelings for her? Siyu fell asleep in a daze. In a trance he felt someone touch him. He was so frightened that he quickly got up from the ground. Only then did he realize that he had unknowingly found himself on a vast grassland. In the distance, there were blue skies and white clouds. The scene was quite beautiful. And the person who touched him surprised him even more. Master, Siyu was so excited that he almost shed tears. Not only had he not dreamed for a long time, but he also did not expect to see Master Wu. Brat, how is it? What do you mean? How are you doing? Yao. It's especially good. I realize that I've transmigrated. But I've returned to the past. Not only am I younger, I've also seen a lot of my family and friends. They're all by my side. Suyu wanted nothing more than to tell Master Wu everything in one go. Hearing Suyu say that he had transmigrated, Master Wu smiled slightly. I'm also dreaming now, aren't I? Suyu touched the amulet around his neck and asked. Not bad. Now you know that you're dreaming. Master Wu smiled. Then was my transmigration also a dream? Shouldn't I be in a nightmare? Suyu quickly asked his biggest question. Master Wu looked at Suyu for a while before speaking. Stupid little donkey, you've already escaped from the nightmare. Suyu was overjoyed. He was so excited that he didn't know what to say. He had indeed escaped. Master, where are you? I'll go find you. I have a lot of questions to ask you. Suyu thought that since he had been reborn and transmigrated, he should go find Master Wu as soon as possible. Chapter 45-54. Kid, stop looking for me. You won't be able to find me. What? Master Wu didn't answer. Instead, he glanced at the amulet on Suyu's neck and the red string on his wrist. Well done. Remember to bring these 2 things with you at all times. With that, Master Wu's figure started to fade. Master, I still have a lot of questions. Suyu was extremely anxious, but Master Wu's figure was gradually blurring. At the last moment he only heard Master Wu say 2 words. Parallel world. Master. Master, don't go. Suyu woke up abruptly amidst the screaming. Boss, did you have a nightmare? And quickly poured a glass of warm water and handed it to him. Suyu looked up at the ceiling. It was still the ward at Southside. Seemed like it was just a dream. He panted and drank the warm water in big gulps. And where's my phone? Madam said that you haven't been resting much recently, so she doesn't want you to play with your phone. Cut the crap, give it to me. And didn't dare to say anything. He took out Suyu's phone from his pocket and carefully handed it over. Suyu turned on his phone with one hand and opened Baidu. After hesitating for a moment he typed in another word. Parallel world. Then all the information was displayed. The multiverse was a theoretical collection of infinite or finite possible universes. The treasury contained everything that could exist, including all space, time, matter, energy, and the laws and constants of physics that described them. When Suyu was in school he wasn't very good at science. He had even connected light bulbs to a series of explosions in physics class. Therefore to him what he found was like a duck listening to thunder. He couldn't understand it at all. Then Suyu continued reading. Below was the principle of parallel worlds explained in plain language. He probably wouldn't be able to understand those quanta and molecules for the rest of his life. However, there was one sentence that he understood. Some scholars use this analogy when describing parallel universes. They might be in the same space system but have different time systems. It was like 2 trains running on the same track. There was another kind of parallel universe where the time system was the same but the space system was different. It was like a car running on the upper and lower floors of an overpass. When Suyu saw this he more or less understood. However, he was still a little confused. He continued reading and saw that it was written at the bottom. When 2 parallel worlds met, some people would suddenly appear, some people would leave forever, and some people would find true love. The cracks in space-time, the parallel worlds, and the terrifying time because there was no future. No one could predict the future. Seeing this, Suyu was once again confused. He put down his phone and closed his eyes. His mind was racing. He thought about everything related to the parallel world. Why did his master tell him about the parallel world in his dream? Could it be that he hadn't transmigrated? Or had he transmigrated to a parallel world? There was no Chinchu here. The closer he got to the truth, the faster his heart raced. He wasn't a straight A student and there were many things that he couldn't understand. At this moment, Huamin came in to change the last bottle of medicine for him. He opened his eyes and looked at Huamin for a while before saying, "Huamin, I have an academic question to ask you. I heard that you used to be a straight A student." Huamin's hand that was changing the medicine paused for a moment. Then he glanced at Suyu. "You know quite a lot." Chapter 45-55. After changing the 4-drip, Suyu gave in a look. And tactfully left the ward. "Take a seat." Suyu smiled at Huamin. "No need. Tell me what you want. I'll go to the cafeteria to get food later." Huamin still looked arrogant as he crossed his arms. She was clearly a nurse, but she acted like an attending doctor. Her aura was really unparalleled. "Have you heard of parallel worlds?" After Suyu finished speaking, Huamin laughed out loud. "What are you laughing at? Is there any other way for you to pick up girls? Is it fun to talk to me about such a profound topic? That's really not it. Although I do want to hit on you. I'm sincerely asking this question. Please enlighten me." Suyu didn't notice that Huamin's face was slightly red when he said this. Suyu was probably the only person in the world who would dare to say that he did want to hit on her. Ahem. Huamin coughed lightly. "Miss Nurse, please enlighten me." Looking at Suyu's pitiful expression, Huamin believed that he was just curious and didn't mean to start a conversation with her. There was no doubt that Huamian was a straight A student. Therefore, when she explained the parallel universe, the theory behind it was similar to Baidu. "Suyu still didn't understand. What I mean is, you'd better explain it to me in a simple way. Otherwise, I might not be able to understand. After all, I'm a bad student." Huamin was speechless. Huamin was helpless. He pushed up his black glasses and asked Suyu, "Let's put it this way. Have you ever had this feeling before? It's like going to a strange place. You've never been to that place before, but you feel that it's familiar." Suyu nodded desperately. He had indeed had this feeling before. As for what kind of state of mind he had been in at that time, he couldn't really describe it. In short, it was very subtle. Also, when something happens, you also feel that it happened before. But you can't remember it. Yes. I've had this feeling before. Suyu nodded his head vigorously. He felt that Huamin had hit the nail on the head. Then Huamin continued, "Another kind is when you're looking for something. You clearly remember where you put it, but you can't find it anywhere. Then, a few days later, you inexplicably find it there." I really do. I remember that my phone was on the sink once. I couldn't find it no matter how hard I tried. I thought I lost it, so I bought a new one. When I woke up the next morning to wash up, I found my phone on the sink. I couldn't find it no matter how hard I tried. It's amazing." Suyu was extremely excited because he had experienced all the phenomena that Huamin mentioned. Huamin nodded. "Yes, although this situation hasn't been scientifically proven, many scientists have proposed the theory of space-time overlapping and peaceful worlds overlapping." Suyu was confused. In other words, the you in the parallel world has been to that place. So when time overlaps, you will have an impression. However, you didn't go there in this world because the you in the parallel world has been there. So you have an impression. It's the same when you lose something. Because at that moment the parallel world overlaps and your things are taken away by the you in the parallel world. After the overlapping time passes, your things will naturally return. Of course, this theory is a little ridiculous. Just take it as a joke. Huamin, then do you believe in parallel worlds? If I say that I'm Suyu from the parallel world, would you believe me? Suyu looked at Huamin and stared at her. Perhaps she was the only person he trusted in this world. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.